Hello and welcome to the Ozarks, guys. I'm taking you on a little walk today, getting you outside. Today it's actually in the 60s, it's sunny, and again, one of my favorite times to get out in the woods. So we're actually going to be talking about purchasing land here in the Ozarks in the southern region of Missouri, and I'm going to tell you about all of the things to look out for and what you need to know before you make that purchase. Might be hearing a chainsaw in the background. That's actually my dad. A tree fell down in the woods, and so he's cutting it up for firewood. And I'll show you a little bit of that at the end of the video. But first of all, just wanted to talk about maybe the mistakes that you're making when you're thinking about purchasing land. A lot of people are looking for 2 to 3 acres. I hear a lot of people want 3 acres so I can build a house, I can have some chickens. That again is a very popular thought out there for a lot of home buyers. But really, I think you need to think bigger. Think 10 acres or 20 acres. And that's going to get you the privacy you're looking for. May cost a little bit more, but actually, that's kind of the way it is in southern Missouri. You have people that live in town in subdivisions that have the 3 acres and they have a nice big house. Or you can live on the outskirts out in the county and then be able to do what you want to do without the restrictions, which I'll get into a little bit more in this video. So I might wait till I get to the top of the hill before I stop and make the rest of this video. But wanted to tell you, first of all, kind of wanted to show you the terrain of the Ozarks. So this is deep in the Ozark Mountains, and this is what it looks like. So it can be very rocky. We have rocks everywhere, as far as you can see. And, you know, lots of limestone. So you'll come across, there's all kinds of rock formations, and even maybe a cave or two. And it's amazing how these trees can grow out of these rocks. So when you see cedar trees especially love rocky terrain. So there you have it. So when you're thinking about building a home, you would have to think about, do I want to be on a hillside with a great view? Do I want to be down in a valley or up on a hill? Those are your choices here in the hills. So it's kind of like the same terrain as Tennessee, but our mountains are, of course, a bit smaller. And I know you guys don't like me calling them mountains, but, you know, they're plateaus, excuse me. And I know they are actually plateaus, but they do feel like mountains when you're walking uphill, right? So a little bit of the terrain, as you can see, this ridge up here, and I'm just climbing out of this valley and getting to the top of the hill. You can finally feel the wind now that I'm getting up higher. So let me show you that part, and I think I'll sit down and try to talk instead. Okay. All right. We finally made it to the top. Got a nice flat mowed space up here where I'm going to take the rest of my video. So I'm going to sit down and talk to you a little bit about restrictions, because restrictions are really important. Some restrictions will allow all kinds of farm animals, and others will allow horses, but no pigs and chickens. So covenants and restrictions are a really important part of looking for land, and you'll need to talk to a realtor and get the covenants and restrictions. Also, title companies will be able to get you those as well. A lot of people will choose to go to the outskirts once they find out that they can't get acreage near Table Rock Lake and put chickens on it. You know, that's really a no-go, because most of those areas have HOAs and there's nicer homes and there's rules and things. So if you're looking for acreage, you need to go more on the outskirts of the county, whatever county you're searching in, and even in the outskirts of Springfield where there's lots of farmland. You're going to have more choices up there. And then if you're really wanting to be on the lake with no restrictions, I would suggest going to Ozark County over that way, where there's absolutely no restrictions anywhere. But in Taney and Stone County, you have some restrictions, HOAs, and stuff like that to deal with. And definitely look for something bigger than 3 acres, because what's happening when you're going on the MLS to look for land and you're limiting yourself to just 3 acres or less, you're going to be in the subdivisions where you can't do the stuff that you want to do. Now, if you want to be in a subdivision with an HOA, yeah, there's lots of good lots available for that, but I find a lot of people are wanting to have animals and a garden, and they want the whole, living at home, farming at home, eating your own food kind of experience. So you can definitely do that here. I'm not saying you can't, but it's got to be a little more of a different search. So this is where you need to get a realtor involved, a local realtor that's going to know the areas a little better and point you in the right direction. So you want to make sure when you're looking at land, what kind of water source does it have for drinking water? Does it have a well? Does it have city water? Does it have community water or a shared well? I know a lot of people kind of freak out about us having shared wells, but it's a pretty common thing that's been going on for a long time because we have a lot of water. If you have a shared well agreement that's recorded with the county and you know who's going to be taking care of what, or it's all a shared combined effort if something goes wrong with the well, that's really all you need to worry about. Shared wells are very common here in Missouri. If you don't have a water source and you're just buying raw land, you're going to have to dig a well, and you're going to have to know what that cost is. Now, the more rock you have to drill through, generally, the more expensive it's going to be. And I'll leave a quote right here. And two, you're going to have to think about what kind of septic system are you going to have. Most people just have a septic tank that's buried, that has access with a lid on it, where you can pump it every now and then if it needs it. They're pretty straightforward and pretty easy to maintain. If you're buying any property in Stone County, you do have to have a transfer certificate. Oh, there's my dad. Always looking for firewood. All right, so I was talking about septic systems. So if you're going to have a septic system, you're going to think about how much is that going to cost you when you're just buying raw land. So that's going to run you, anywhere from $12,000 on up, depending on the type of system you have to have on your land. If you're buying lakefront property, especially on Table Rock, you have to have a more up-to-date, sophisticated system. So one thing I've run into that's very important when you're purchasing land is a survey. Now, a lot of people in the Ozarks, I find, don't have a survey, especially if they've owned it a really long time and it's passed down through the family. Maybe they just never got a survey done. So that's really important. If they don't have a survey, put that in your contract and request one. But I would probably not buy land unless I had a survey done. Of course, you want to get title search done and make sure that there's no tax liens or anything that's clouding that title to prevent you from purchasing the land. Also, you want to make sure that you're not buying in any kind of flood zone. Now, some areas do have some flood zones, and if you have enough land, you can build up on a hill, and it's not a big deal. It's not going to affect you if you're high up on a hill, but you don't want to put your house in an area that floods. Now, you may want to ask a neighbor or two how high the water gets in that valley if they're living on the same little creek. But it is surprising how much water our creeks can hold. And when we get a lot of rain and a flash flood, it turns into a river around here. So the perfect time to look at property is right now. In the wintertime before spring hits, where it's just getting warmer, on a day like this, it is perfect to get out and walk around because you can actually see the land. You're not covered with forest and leaves because literally you cannot see the land as well as you can right now. So I would suggest coming down and looking for land in the Ozarks as soon as you can. And if you can't make it this time of year, you can do it in the summer. You're just not going to see it as well. If you're thinking about purchasing land in the Ozarks, I would love to help you out. I've been here all my life, and I still love the Ozarks so much because there's always a change of season. You never know what the next day is going to bring. Like, we could have snow on the ground. It could be a day like this. It's always a big surprise, which I like. I like that. So I hope you do too. And if you love the Ozarks and want to come visit and just sit down and chat and talk about your real estate plans. I'd love to do that too. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. What happened to this tree?
Well, it got blown over.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm trying to cut it up.
Yeah. Oh my.
I really don't like it. It's a white oak. It's kind of hard to work with. It's a real tight grain.
Yeah.
But the black oak around here are kind of few and far between.
Right. It just blew over, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. That mound.
That's my cat graveyard.
It is?
That's where the cats are buried.
I didn't know that.
That's
No.
what I told you.
No? That's where all the cats are buried?
Lacey and
Oh. Lacey and Tiger? Beautiful today. Yeah, it's so pretty. I like the little moss coming out.
Yeah.
This road's about to wash away.
Not long.
Hurts.
They like it for wood.
What kind of tree is it?
Water oak. It's
Water oak.
It has water in it. Even though it lays down forever, it still
Oh.
it sucks so much water. There
Uh-huh.
must be water on this hillside because a lot of the trees are like that, water oaks. Inside of it's just spongy down there. Where
Where it broke off?
yeah. And it takes it forever to dry out.
Uh-huh.
And it burns up real quick. I don't know what I'll do with it. I'm not.
Wow.
But get the rest of it up, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
Well, you're not doing anything with it because it's.
Some people
can you
like
dry
it for campfires because it doesn't smoke.
Oh,
Like
really?
regular oak.
Oh, look at the mushrooms growing around it.
Yeah.
That tells you
Earlier
something.
they were huge.
Really?